Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we have something truly exciting for you. If you're passionate about sustainability and renewable energy, you're going to love this conversation. We're talking all about biogas plants and how organic waste materials can be transformed into energy. Today, we will be talking about top 10 organic waste materials that yield more biogas.
We have a very special guest today. Technologist Samuel, an expert in renewable energy and waste management. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So, let's dive right in. Biogas production is one of those topics that can really make a difference in the fight against climate change. But many people don't really know how it works or what materials are used. Can you give us a brief overview of what biogas is and how it's produced?
Of course. Biogas is a renewable energy source that's produced through the anaerobic digestion of organic matter. Essentially, in the absence of oxygen, bacteria break down organic waste materials, like food scraps, animal manure, and even agricultural residues, and in the process, they release methane, a potent greenhouse gas that can actually be harnessed as a clean energy source. This methane can be used for electricity generation, heating, or even as a fuel for vehicles. It's a win-win because we're recycling waste and producing energy at the same time.
That sounds fascinating. So, what are some of the key organic waste materials used to feed a biogas plant?
Great question. There are actually many types of organic materials that can be used in biogas plants, but I'll highlight the top 10 that are most commonly used. These materials are rich in organic matter, which makes them excellent feedstocks for biogas production. Let's get into it.
I can't wait. Let's start with the first one on your list. What's the number one material used in biogas production?
Alright, number one on the list is cow manure. It's one of the most widely used materials because it's readily available, and it's packed with organic matter. Cow manure has a high methane yield, making it a great choice for biogas production. Plus, using manure in this way helps reduce methane emissions from livestock waste, which would otherwise be released into the atmosphere.
That's really interesting. So, we're not just recycling waste, but also helping with environmental problems caused by livestock. What's next on the list?
Number 2 is food waste. This one is incredibly valuable for biogas production. Every day, millions of tons of food are wasted globally, and a large percentage of it is organic. Whether it's fruit peels, vegetable scraps, or leftover food, these materials break down easily and produce a good amount of biogas. It's one of the easiest ways to take advantage of a waste stream that's often just discarded.
That's a huge amount of waste, isn't it? And it's crazy to think that we could turn all that food waste into something as useful as biogas. What comes in at number 3?
At number 3, we have agricultural residues, things like crop leftovers, straw, and husks. After harvesting crops like corn, wheat, or rice, the leftover material is often left in the fields or burned, contributing to air pollution. But by feeding these residues into biogas plants, we can turn that leftover material into clean energy instead. It's a fantastic way to reduce waste while generating biogas.
That's a great point. It's really about closing the loop and finding better ways to handle all this agricultural byproduct. What's number 4?
Coming in at number 4 is animal bedding, specifically bedding made from materials like straw, sawdust, or wood chips. Animals like cows and horses are often kept in bedding, and after a while, that bedding becomes waste. But when mixed with manure and added to a biogas plant, it's an excellent source of organic material that helps boost biogas production.
I never thought about bedding being a potential source of biogas. I bet a lot of people would overlook that. What's next?
Number 5 is garden waste, things like grass clippings, leaves, and branches. Many people tend to throw away their garden waste or burn it, but these materials are full of organic material that bacteria can break down in a biogas digester. It's another example of how we can repurpose waste that might otherwise pollute the environment.
So, basically, we can turn our lawns and gardens into a clean energy source. That's awesome. What's number 6?
At number 6, we have sewage sludge. This one might sound a little off-putting at first, but sewage sludge is a really important resource in biogas production. After wastewater is treated, the remaining sludge contains a lot of organic matter. When fed into biogas plants, it's an excellent source of methane. Plus, it helps reduce the environmental impact of sewage treatment.
I have to admit, I didn't know sewage sludge could be used like this. It's fascinating how many different types of organic waste can be repurposed. What comes in at number 7?
Number 7 is food processing waste. This includes things like pulp from fruit juices, waste from meat and dairy processing, and even spent grains from breweries. Food processing generates a lot of waste that's often high in organic content, so biogas plants are a perfect way to make use of these materials while producing energy.
Wow, this list is getting more and more interesting. So, even industries like food production are part of the biogas game. What's number 8?
Number 8 is manure from other animals like pigs, chickens, and even rabbits. Just like cow manure, the manure from other animals is an excellent source of organic matter. It's often used in smaller-scale biogas production systems, especially in places with livestock farms. The methane yield can be significant, and using this manure reduces the risk of environmental pollution.
So, livestock farmers can really take advantage of this technology. What's next?
At number 9, we have plant-based waste from things like palm oil plantations, sugarcane processing, and even coffee production. These industries produce large quantities of organic waste, much of which can be used to generate biogas. It's a win-win situation for both the industry and the environment.
This is such an eye-opener. It's amazing how many industries can benefit from biogas technology. And finally, what's number 10 on your list?
Last but not least, number 10 is seaweed. This one is a little more unusual, but seaweed is an organic material that can be used in biogas production, especially in coastal areas where seaweed is abundant. It has a high organic content, and when used in a biogas plant, it produces methane just like land-based plants.
Seaweed. Now, that's something I never expected to hear on this list. This conversation has been so eye-opening. Before we wrap up, could you share a little more about how biogas plants could benefit communities or businesses?
Absolutely. Biogas plants can bring a range of benefits. For communities, they help reduce waste going to landfills, lower greenhouse gas emissions, and provide local energy sources. For businesses, they can turn waste into valuable energy, helping cut down on energy costs and reduce their carbon footprint. It's a great way for communities and companies alike to become more sustainable and self-sufficient.
That's incredible. It's amazing how biogas production can help us reduce waste, cut down on pollution, and create renewable energy all at the same time. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your expertise with us, technologist Samuel. I'm sure our viewers are going to learn so much from this.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking about this important topic, and I hope more people get inspired to support biogas and sustainable energy solutions.